Gaels!
Yeah, well, I mean, as one of the founders of the Seattle Gaels, I'm tremendously proud of the fact that the North American finals are going to be here. You know, when we started the club in 1979, little did we think that the finals would be here. The first time we participated in the North American board competition was 1980. We went down to San Francisco and we gave a good accounting of ourselves, but we were beaten, I remember, by 6 points. So, but there's been a lot of football played since then, and I am absolutely thrilled that the games are going to be here. So,
would it be considered an outpost, because it's the first time it's ever come to the Pacific Northwest? So you've been involved in the NACB all these years in various capacities, but now you've got it to come to your backyard. If you can explain that to people who don't know the geography and the background and history.
Well, Seattle is a long way from Boston or Chicago or any of these other cities where the games are, you know, there's a lot of Gaelic football and hurling and camogie and so on. I mean, Boston is probably closer to Ireland than Seattle than it is to Seattle. We're that far away from Boston. When we started the team, the biggest problem we had was getting games because there was no other teams around here. The closest team we found was, and they were just starting, was the team in Vancouver, BC, and that was a 3.5-hour drive just to go up and play them. 3.5 hours up, 3.5 hours back. Then we got Calgary and Edmonton to affiliate, and so Calgary was only 800 miles away. Edmonton was 950 miles away. We played in San Francisco, and they're 800 miles away. So that was always the problem. To keep the games going, you need competition. And where do you find the competition? So the people who were involved in the GA over the years here were very dedicated. You had to be, because you were paying your own way to go to these places. There was no big funds available to cover the cost of airfare, or most of us would travel by car, even to Edmonton, 950 miles driving each way, because it was cheaper to drive than it was to fly. So I give tremendous credit to the fellas involved in the Gaels and men and women who are involved in the Gaels today for their commitment, because it really hasn't changed that much. The closest, there is a team in Tacoma, but Tacoma is still, you know, it's an hour to drive down and so on. It's great to have them, but the other closest team is still 3.5 hours away in Vancouver, or down in Portland, another 3.5 hours away. So it's a big commitment to be involved in Gaelic games here in the Northwest.
Would you then see the Nationals coming as a reward for all the work that's been put in down the years and the effort to keep it going?
Yeah, it's a reward, I suppose, and persistence, and it's a just recognition of the dedication of the Gaels in the Pacific Northwest, because there have been an awful lot of people who have been involved and have supported the games here over the years and have put their own selves on the line, as well as their money and everything else, to keep the games going. I mean, there were games here now back in the 1930s, for example. There was Gaelic football played here, and there was probably Gaelic football every year because there were always Irish around here, but never enough to kind of have competition. There were games in the 60s between teams from Seattle and San Francisco, teams from Seattle and Vancouver, and so on. But back then you didn't have the roads, and you wouldn't consider flying because it was too expensive as well. But so we're an outpost, definitely an outpost, and I think that the finals coming to Seattle are a just reward.
When the big day comes, do you think you will remember all of those people who've put in efforts down the years and who are maybe not with us anymore, and will you have pride in your heart, a little bit of tear in your eye nearly?
Yeah, definitely. There are a lot of good Gaels that have passed away since we started. Mike O'Malley is one of the big ones. The Gaels wear the Mayo colours because of Mike O'Malley, but he's not the only one over the years who have contributed to the promotion of the games. And so there will be a lot of old memories, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of the old timers come around who were involved over the years, and who later put their lives on the line as well, and who'll come back out again, who haven't been that involved over the last 15-20 years. So I look forward to seeing them as well.
And as someone who's been there all along, do you also see it as a chance for the game in this area to get a little bit of a boost and to become even stronger?
Oh yeah, I definitely, I hope that there will be an explosion of the games here. We have a lot of support, you know, from the Mayor of Seattle, the police chief, and different politicians who have declared their support. The Mayor and the police chief are the honorary chairs of the games. We hope to get a lot of coverage over the weekend, and hope that next year we'll have be able to expand on the number of teams, hurling, camogie and Gaelic football in the Seattle area.
And finally, would you give credit to the North American County Board for giving it to Seattle, for taking it up to this area and seeing what's going on here?
Yeah, I do give them tremendous credit, because they're taking a chance to a certain extent. The games have never been held here before. We're not a big outfit like they have in Boston or Chicago or San Francisco, and yeah, so they are taking a chance. But I think it's the investment is well worth it, and the potential upside is well worth the risk.
So you think Seattle will put on a show?
Seattle will do justice to the games, I guarantee you.